Are you a hardworking dad, juggling family responsibilities while dreaming of building wealth through real estate? Welcome to the Invested Fathers Podcast, where we explore how to balance investing and fatherhood. I'm your host, Kenny Johnson, founder of East West Capital. Over the past 5 years, I've been buying real estate to free up my time and secure my family's future. Now I'm here to help you do the same. Join me as we navigate the real estate world together, building wealth and strengthening our families. As my grandma always said, East West, home's best. In each guest episode, we're given deep insights into how these individuals think about their business. As you listen, you pick up on their personal beliefs and values, which define who they are not only in their business, but as well as at home with their family. Abdullah, my guest today, is 28 years old. He has a big heart for helping his employees and actually has a ton of experience in building companies and creating culture while training his teams. And he'll also be a first-time dad any day now, as his son is about to be born. I wanted to make an important note that this episode does include some themes not intended for younger listeners. Throughout the podcast series, I want my audience to expect warm, uplifting, positive stories. And in today's episode, Abdullah shares a unique perspective and worldview that honestly made me think more about being grateful and not grumbling, specifically on where we are in America, where truthfully, it's not so great in other parts of the world. Thank you for tuning in. And now for episode 7.
I'm not looking to be some crazy rich guy. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened with the way I do things. But my ultimate goal in life is to be able to wake as many people up as possible. I see it everywhere I go. People are so negative. People are so hell-bent that their life sucks when they have no clue how bad some people have it. I mean, just overseas in Palestine, dude, just overseas, kids are just walking around and getting killed.
Welcome to the conversation today with Abdullah. Abdullah, help me out with your last name.
Abunasrah.
Abunasrah.
Yes, sir.
Easy. Abdullah's got such a unique, interesting story. He has a background in cars, wholesaling. He's building his own platform with real estate stuff. Abdullah, give us your 1-minute bio of all the highlights of what you're working on, and then we're going to dive deeper into everything you're doing.
So we're like an eBay for real estate, like a Craigslist for real estate. Basically, anybody can list their property on our website. It's free to list. Anybody can buy. You're basically just submitting an offer on a property. There's no contract or obligations. You submit an offer, and if the seller considers your offer or accepts your offer, it basically opens a line of communication between you two. So we're basically just trying to bring people on to real estate as easily as possible by providing the data that they need to see to underwrite as many deals as possible within seconds. Right now, it takes about 15 seconds to underwrite a deal to decide if you want to even look into it. Before, it would take me about 5 to 6 minutes on average. And then if you want to underwrite a deal fully to figure out what you need to submit the offer at, it takes about 60 seconds. And that used to be 15 to 20 minutes before. So I'm a times guy, man. I love time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I value time more than anything.
This is your latest venture here, the Crossway, I believe is what the company's called, PRO, Pros Way, Crossway. Yeah. And to give our listeners some context, give us some of your previous roles, jobs leading up to this point.
My family's got the 2 wholesale operations and 1 retail operation and another retail operation overseas. We are heavy in cars. We've been doing wholesale cars for the last about 30 years. We do on a good month, we do about 200 cars a week between all locations. And we just now started expanding into retail in the last 3-4 years. And it's been a journey. It's been a journey. But the only problem with the car business was whenever the market shifted, you're in trouble because your overhead expenses are so high. Our marketing alone was about $20,000 to $30,000 a month at one point. It was a tricky business. And after so long, you kind of get tired of it and you have to kind of adapt, make a couple changes, find something safer. And I jumped into real estate about 8 months ago.
Okay.
And I fell in love with it from there.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, 30 years of what sounds like the family business to now saying, hey, I want to try this thing over here. What a shift. How old are you? And are you a dad right now?
I am 28. I got into the business when I was about 12 or 13, I think is when I bought my first car. I sold my first car at 12. I think I bought my first car at 14. My firstborn son is due in 2 weeks. Two
Oh
weeks, July
boy.
5th. July 5th. So
Look out, everybody. There's gonna be a little Abdullah running around
yeah,
here.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
gonna try to one up you and sell his first car or first
yeah.
house at age 8 or so. So be
You,
careful.
that's what you want as a dad, though, right? You want your son to do better than you, you
Of
know?
course,
Really
man.
good.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We
Yeah,
always want to give our kids a better childhood than we had,
yeah.
and the cycle just continues on in that way. So you decide, hey, I'm gonna leave the car business. We're doing real estate. You
Mhm.
fell in love with it. What is it about real estate that you just fell in love with? What was the hook?
How safe it is, how like you can go buy a asset that's stuck in the ground for 70 to 80% of ARV. You can collect passive income on it within 3 months. So that's assuming you have to do a lot of
Hmm.
rehab to it. The cheapest rent will ever get in the ghettoest of the ghettoest area is going to be around $800. But on average, rent right now is about $1,500 to $1,600. It's an appreciating asset that is it's not going anywhere. And you can go pull a mortgage on it at any time if you ever need cash, or you can just sell it and you can write off expenses. You can write it off so much easier than anything else. Anything. It's just it's by far the safest bet. It's the safest gamble.
Mm,
It's a long-term gamble. That's the thing. Everybody wants to make money today and wants to make money
right,
quicker.
right.
They don't realize that if you're consistently an employee to your business, there's no exit strategy. There's no taking vacations. There's no slowing down. That's kind of what was happening with us is we had 40 geniuses. I'm talking about like my family, cousins and uncles,
Yes.
and that's before we even get to like my brother and my dad that are, equally or probably smarter than me.
Yeah.
And they're
Wow.
just, they're full-time employees to a business that, it's really difficult to exit out of. It's really difficult to kind of turn and walk away from, because if you turn and walk away, everything just crashes with it. So I'm hoping that I can kind of take that geniusness, all that. And honestly, I feel like everybody's so limited, being there. I hope that I can make this, I know I'll make this work and
Yes.
kind of bring them into real estate instead.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
and then the sky's the limit at that point,
Okay. And where are you from? You said overseas.
I'm from Palestine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, the idea of 40, again, Abdullah's uncles and Abdullah's cousins all
Yeah.
working in this synergistic,
Yeah.
everyone has a goal. We've got to find a way to get some more meat on the bone here and everything you
Yeah.
just described in real estate. So I'm really excited for you, man. It sounds like you are trailblazing. Are they all still in Palestine right now?
No, no. My cousins that work with me, my uncles are all here in Memphis and in Little Rock. That's where the other operation is. Man, they're a bunch of gangsters, just a
Yeah.
bunch of
Oh
gangsters
yeah.
that are really good at what they do.
Yeah.
They're just very dangerous people, but they're very good people at the same time,
Understood. Understood.
you know, like the world needs more people like them, but just to be out there, not just
Yeah.
inside it in like an office like, we are, and actually pressing down and doing bigger things. Not every family needs this one guy to kind of show everybody. Why don't we do something bigger? I'm hoping that that's what I'm doing.
Oh, obviously time is current, but I would say you are doing that. Not a hope.
I am.
You are doing that right now.
I try to be humble, but I do lean on them big time. I told you we got 2 weeks worth of funding left, but I know I can comfortably keep pushing, because I know if I ever needed it, I can pick up the phone and ask any one of them for 10, 50 grand, whatever
Yeah.
I need.
Right.
Just because we've been such a close family and we've been through so much throughout the last 10, 15 years is working together.
Yeah.
And then I got God on my side too. So I don't really stress about anything. I
Yeah.
just I let whatever happen.
I was in the same job for 9.5 years.
Mhm.
And when I found out about real estate, there was a moment where I said, I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm betting on myself. And through that, I feel like that's the safest bet I can do because, like you said, I'm not going to let this go wrong. You can say, well, I have potentially a parachute or, a fail safe. If I need something, I can ask a friend. And I think that's very wise of you to say that instead of, I can't let anyone know I'm suffering here. Like,
Yeah.
I just got to put on the face, fake it till you make it. There's a point where I believe in myself. I believe in what this company, whatever is.
Yeah.
And I think that is rare.
Yeah.
And like you just said, we need more people like that in the world who are shakers and movers than just, hey, follow what we tell you to do and you'll, get a steady income. And that's not the life I think we want to lead. So you've talked about your own family, the gangsters there. You have a family you're starting now.
Yeah.
2 weeks, your funds are coming up. So you got the business pressures here, but fatherhood is about to start. Tell us what are your thoughts about fatherhood right now. I mean, you mentioned God and obviously just different principles, disciplines of your life.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about?
I'm very excited. I'm very excited. My dad's very excited just because I'm the oldest son and it's his first grandson. And he's one of the
Gotcha.
youngest out of his brothers. All of his brothers and nephews all have kids and grandkids, three or four of them. Thank God, thank God. It's a blessing, I know. So he's been kind of like, it's your turn.
Yes.
I need a grandkid. I need a little
Yes.
kid. I named him after him. I named my son after my dad. So
Oh boy.
just to make it more special, man. My family's close. My
Oh,
family,
I see that.
we're bulletproof, man. We're bulletproof.
I
You can't
love that.
can't get between anyone in our family. And
Okay.
I'm hoping I raise my kid to be the same way. I hope I can replicate or make it better the childhood that I've been through. I love every situation. I like thank God that God put me in any obstacle, and as bad as it might have seemed at the moment, it was all lessons. Everything was a lesson at the end of the day. So I'm so thankful for everything that happened because I know that it's going to benefit not just me, but it's going to benefit my kids and it's going to benefit their kids, and it's just going to kind of be a generational thing after that. Just not the financial part, but just the being a good human
Yeah.
and being a good person. That's it. That's all that matters to me.
Yes.
Taking care of people, looking at
Yes.
signs, taking advantages of obstacles and
Yes.
situations and opportunities. So
Man,
that's
at 28, man, you got a lot of good mindset going into your 30s. I have a son who's 7 and a daughter who's 3.
really,
You got nothing to worry about in regards to, am I going to love this kid enough? Because as soon as you meet them,
yeah,
you're done. They will become a huge motivation to make
yeah.
make the world better.
Oh man,
Uh,
it already happened, dude. As soon as Natalie, my wife,
yes,
said she was pregnant, it
yes,
was like a switch. It was like a
yes.
switch. It was crazy. It was
I
crazy.
love it.
It's like I woke up the next morning a different human.
Okay. I want to ask your advice. You're 28. I know there's people listening who are going to be 28.
Yeah,
What is it? I mean, and I love that you said, things switched when you found out you were going to be a dad, but that as well as just you have many years, hopefully, left to just
yeah,
grow, conquer the world.
yeah.
What are some things that you can help motivate or instruct or just like, hey, I learned this along the way, and this is why I am.
The three biggest things that I abide by and I live by
Yes.
is one, obstacles and situations, no matter how bad they can get, even if you think this is the end, it's it. Like if I don't make it past this moment, I'm done. I'm done. If you were to look at that situation as a lesson, it would change everything. If you were to look at that moment, like, why is this happening to me? What am I supposed to learn from this? How do I do to get out of this? You're not going to have time to think this is the end of the world, you know? Two, when it comes to businesses, like people that have businesses, I have current 5 or 6 LLCs right now. If you are an employee to your business, or if you're an asset to your business, you're not going to be able to scale. So my biggest lesson that I tell people is don't be an asset to your business. Make your business an asset to you.
Mm.
Take the handcuffs off your employees. Let them make a mistake. But if they go and they make a mistake and they cost you, even if, man, I had one employee one day, one of my buyers, I trained him for 3 years. He bought a truck for $14,000 more than it was worth by accident. And when he called me, he was having a heart attack. I was like, listen, just take it easy. Let me find a way to resolve this. I called the guy, I called the seller, and I was like, look, this was a mistake. I was like, it was a mistake. I was like, let's just avoid all the noise. How much do you want me to pay you to just cancel the sale? He was like, give me $1,000.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
You just saved $13,000.
Like this
Oh
guy became a
man.
friend to me. He liked who I was. I talked to him
Yes.
in the process. The worst case scenario, he said, no, I'm stuck with the $13,000 loss. Like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna sit here and cry and
Right.
complain?
Moving
Find a
forward.
no, just move on, man. Just it happened. It's stuck. It is what it is.
You had said, treat every obstacle as a lesson. Like, what
Yeah.
is something to be gained from that? Two is treat your business. Don't be in your business. Work on your
On your
business,
business.
more or
Yes.
less.
Yeah.
And there's a book called E Myth, the entrepreneurial myth, and basically it's
Yeah.
like quit being the technician
Yeah.
and be the one who is hiring the technician to like
Yeah.
fix the thing, and then stop hiring and have someone hire someone to hire. Like
Yeah.
you're just making sure everything is working right.
The third was the sales. Like whenever you're working in, if you're like a sales like performance based business like we
Yes.
are. I'm gonna give an example. We have 4 cold callers right now. We call about 1,000 people a day. And then they bring me those 1,000 people, and then basically the interested people, I set them up to where I keep them warm until they do get a fix and flip and until they get whatever. So a lot of them are saying they're not interested in. They send me those people. So I had one of those realtors this morning, and whenever I called her, she was like, I'm not interested in your service. And I was like, just hear me out. I was like, do you have a second? And then she was like, sure. And I was like, I don't want I don't want your business. I was like, I don't want you to pay me. I don't want you to send me anything. I was like, all I want from you is to just keep me in mind if you have something you might need my help with. Now, what did I just do there? I offered my help. I told her that, listen, I don't want your business. You keep your money, keep your houses, keep whatever. But if you ever come to a point or you have a friend that asks you that, hey, I have a fix and flip. Where do I sell this house? I just want you to remember me. That's it. So if you ever do get to that point, this is my direct line. Here you go. She ended up giving me a fix and flip on the spot. It's crazy, right? Like whenever you look at
Wow.
so the point I'm trying to make is whenever you look at your customers' benefits and issues,
Yes.
you look at your financial statement and you look at how much you're
Yes.
making, things change. Like that realtor loves me.
Oh yeah.
Like, she'll never forget me. She'll never forget me. Just because of the simple fact that I approached her in a different way. I told her that I don't want her money. I don't want her business. I just want her to be happy. So people want friends these days. They don't want salesmen. Do not hire a bunch of salesmen. Do not treat your people like salesmen, Whenever you talk to somebody, you need to understand their side of the story. You need to kind of understand what they're going through.
Thank you for those words of wisdom. I'm a firm believer in employee experience and customer experience.
Yeah.
And my previous role in this 9.5-year job was more or less customer service representative. And it's very difficult to teach people to care for others. You talk about building these teams, and your approach to this lady, I think, was awesome. Hey, listen, I'm not trying to sell you. I'm not trying to steal your business. I just want you to keep me in mind if you need help in this way. You were just kind of teaching her, hey, this is what we do. If this doesn't work for you, great. If it does work for you, like we'd love to help. And she's like, oh, okay. Actually, I have a guy right here. Call this number.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do you find these people and how do you train them? I've heard the tactic, you either start at the bottom, you hire like the lowest person and just
Yeah.
kind of work your way up, or hire like the VP, whatever, and then
Yeah.
have them do everything. How have you been able to, get these 5 businesses and create these teams?
A lot of the team that we have now are friends. I knew that they were just good people in general. I don't like money hungry people. All these people are, they prefer a good relationship more than they prefer making $1 million right then and there. So I basically put this like system in place, and I gave them all like categories and things to kind of do based off what they like doing.
Okay.
It takes time to kind of figure it all out. Like one of my friends, I had to change him 4 or 5 different times until I kind of found something that works for him. But time always fixes all of that. As long as you keep trying to, move parts around, as long as you keep trying to move different things around. Every time I opened a business, I usually found somebody that I considered a friend, like in my group. And I basically told them, listen, this is what I'm doing. Do you want to run this? And then I'll give you 50%. Like one of my businesses was a body shop. I was like a body shop broker.
Yeah.
I was basically taking in insurance jobs, and I was having a body shop that we have in place for our dealership, one of our wholesale dealerships. basically I was running the cars through there and I was running them through my LLC and I was charging them retail prices instead of wholesale prices. So that stuff takes time. It takes time to do the invoices. It takes time to talk to the insurances. It takes time, whatever. And I was like, this is fair to give someone a big percentage of this business. I can make money on the side. I can make, 20, 30, 40%. And then I can have this guy that is kind of lost right now and doesn't know what to do. I can
Yes.
have him come and sit in my place and
Yes.
run the entire show. And I'll just pressure him. I'll basically make him an animal. That's where it's at. That's where
Okay.
it's at.
So that's worked for you. Like you can
E-
say, I've done that more than
Every
once.
every single time, every single time. Here's the thing, everybody tries to find people that are currently doing whatever it is they're trying to do. For instance, whenever I was working and buying cars, I was one of the main buyers. I was a top buyer. Every time I sat on the computer, I'd buy about 40 or 50 cars every single time. That's in a couple of hours. So anywhere I went, I left a mark. Every single auction I ever stepped foot in, everybody knows who I was in the car industry. So I needed to find two or three people to make them do 30% of what I was doing. So I went and found one guy that like I heard of, an Arabic dude that worked and he was a Popeyes manager. And I basically told him, look, you're a smart guy. I met him. He had that little, he had the hunger, that aggression. And I was like, I'll teach you how to buy cars. And same thing with another one of my friends. It's actually now he's not just a friend, he's not just an employee, but he's like a brother to me now, actually.
Yeah. Oh,
I
that's what
trained
happens.
like it's
Absolutely.
yeah, I trained them how to buy cars. People that never did that in their lives. They never bought a single car in their life. And now both of them are just, they're animals. They're really good at whatever it is they do. And they have this wild fire, they have this
Dude.
crazy fire in their heads. But if I was waiting for someone that was already currently in the industry, and
Mhm.
by the way, I've hired 20 managers. I've hired a lot and that were at different stores. And I swear to God, they would come into our operation and they'd look around and they're like, dude, what is this? It's like a truck stop in the parking lot from all the cars coming in and out. I'm not used to all this. And they quit. Most of the time they quit. Let's say you take someone that works at Chick-fil-A
Yeah.
and he's working at a location that's slow. If you take him from a store that performs at a slow rate and they just do things that need to be done and they want to get their 8 hours over and that's it, they leave, and you want to put them in an environment like we work, like where we come from, there's no sitting down. We're like we're going to war. If you want to sit down, you're going to get in our way, so just go home. And man, I cannot stress how many people I've let go because of how slow they were.
Mhm.
How just you look over and you find out they're playing on their phone for a couple hours, and I walk up to them and I'm like, dude, like you're getting in my way. Me having to come here and tell you to get off your phone is getting in my way. Either you fix it and you start performing the way I want you to perform, or you just leave. There's no hard feelings. You either quit or perform. There's no in the middle with me,
Right.
you know?
Right, man.
And that's just the habit that my family, man, we're hard about it. We want people that want to work. We want people that want to learn because it's not about how much you pay them. We pay more than any other car dealer, wholesaler, whatever, in the whole industry. We pay more than most auctions do. It's not about the money that makes our experience for these people so pleasurable. It's just the simple fact that whenever you work with us, you're about to learn so much information, tactics, life hacks. You're about to see so much good happen.
Mhm. Mm.
We would have like people from our mosque come in. They would basically bring us somebody that's in need, and we would sit down and figure out how to help these people. So
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
only are they seeing like just stuff being
Good.
going on, they're also seeing good things happen. So it's just a big learning experience. But
Absolutely.
even if you were to quit today, what you've learned with
Yes.
working with us for a few months will
Yes.
change the rest of your life.
Yes. Wow.
Because you're going to go into these different businesses and be like, dude, you guys are lazy.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not gonna be able to unsee what they've seen with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The show is called Invested Fathers. I can't help but think your dad, I mean, you're naming your son after your dad.
Yeah.
Shortly put, how is your upbringing from your dad?
Man,
shaped everything.
I pray every day and I think about it every day. I hope I'm just half of the man my dad's is. He's unbelievable. I've never seen him freak out. I've never seen him panic. And dude, me and him have been in some sticky situations together, dude. We've been like, there was one day where I went and buried his like $30,000 Hummer in the middle of the woods. In the middle, I'm talking about like 4 or 5 miles off the woods. It was like one of those situations where if we didn't get this out today, they're gonna burn it. They're gonna burn the Hummer whenever they see it because it was a trail. It was basically an ATV trail. They're gonna burn it, and insurance wasn't gonna cover it. I was a young guy, you know. At that point, I was calling tow trucks, friends, and he showed up, man. He just kind of looked around and he got it out. You know, I was stuck there for about 28 hours. 28 hours. And he was there for an hour, 1 hour. And man, I've always been a smart guy.
Oh man.
I've always been one of those people where you can throw a situation at me and I'm going to figure out a way to resolve it. I don't think there's a situation I can't resolve. Personally,
Yes.
you know, when it comes to dad, I get it from him. I get that. I
No,
get
I
that.
love it.
I get that. My granddad used to tell people that you can put my dad on an island and he will find a way back. They used to actually say, and he's never said that about any of his other kids. He's one of the youngest two or three. He has everything to do with who I am today. It's all him. As hard as he is on me, man, as bad as the fights get,
Yes.
we get in some bad fights. It takes one person to be calm, you know? It takes one person to stop a fight.
Abdullah, I feel like you're just dropping so many gold nuggets of wisdom here. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing everything. I'll say, you know, in the short amount of time that we've gotten to know each other here, the superpowers, building those teams like you talked about, there's a solution to the problem. Like that type of composure is uncommon. And
Yeah.
you're someone that can lead people out of problems.
Yeah.
And that's coming from your dad, obviously, the man who can get off an island after being dropped off.
Yeah.
And even now, as you're talking about just walking away and peacekeeping,
Yeah.
sound mind. Hey, we're emotional creatures, you know, like things happen. You're going to get, you know, fired up about it.
It's
But
normal.
I love that you guys are able to come back, you know, have these disagreements. You guys know you love each other. You know, there's something built there that's you want the best for each other.
Yeah.
And thanks so much for sharing all that.
I'm not looking to be some crazy rich guy. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened with the way I do things. But my ultimate goal in life is to be able to wake as many people up as possible. I see it everywhere I go. I see how people are so negative. People are so hell bent that their life sucks when they have no clue how bad some people have it. I mean, just overseas in Palestine, dude, just overseas, kids are just walking around and getting killed. They're setting booby traps under a cup of like ramen noodles, and the army, whatever over there, is setting booby traps under those little cans of the cup of ramen noodle. They'd basically have it flipped upside down, and they'd have like a little bomb inside of it. The kid thinks it's food, and you know, they're being starved. These are people that haven't eaten in 4 or 5 days. Whenever the kid picks up that food, it explodes. And then you come back over here and you have someone that has a flat tire and thinks it's the end of the world. I had one guy, man, I'll never forget this, sit there and tell me that, oh, his life is over. He's got to pay his bills. He's got $1,500 in rent coming up. And then I was like, okay, where are you working? He was like, I'm doing Uber. And I was like, you're doing Uber? You're doing Uber for how many hours of the day? He was like 3 or 4 hours. And I was like, where are your other 20 hours? And then he was like, I sleep. What time do you wake up? He was like, I wake up around 10 o'clock. And I was like, 10 o'clock. I was like, dude, I wake up at 3:30. Okay, when do you start Ubering? He was, I Uber at like 5 is where I start, 5 p.m. And then I was like, you Uber at 5, you wake up at 10. So what are you doing from 10 to 5? And he was like, oh no, I run errands. I was like, what tell me what errands? Tell me what are you doing for 7 hours a day?
You're not going to let him get out of this. You're like, tell me.
No, there's no getting out of it.
No, exactly.
He kind of started telling me things. He kind of just started looking at me like I was stupid. And he got mad at me.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Because like I wish I could buy 2 more hours in my day to spend with my wife. Man, I'm full throttle, even though she's pregnant. I'm at it from 3 till 9 p.m. And then 9 to 11 is the only time I get to spend with my wife. And I try to squeeze in seeing my parent after work. I don't stop. I don't get lunch. I mean, here's my lunch right here, you know. I don't plan on getting up. My wife was asking me why I bought this big tank of water because I don't like taking time to go find a water bottle. And then I was like, you're complaining about being broke? Do you think you deserve to be anything but broke? He kind of calmed down at that point. He started realizing it.
Abdullah, we're going to definitely keep you in our sights of your journey here. Next 2 weeks, baby's coming. Take
Yeah.
some time off if you can and just
Yeah.
enjoy everything there. Give our audience something to follow.
It's my name. All my social media is my name, Abdullah Abunasrah. It's Abdullah and Abunasrah. It's I'm everywhere, man.
Okay.
I'm pushing it all. So
Okay.
you'll find me just about anywhere.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time today, Abdullah.
No problem.
Congratulations again.
Thank you, bud. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Invested Fathers Podcast. If you liked this episode, we would love for you to click subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. We appreciate all of your hard work as a father and look forward to our next episode together.